You don't replay conversations because you're overthinking. You replay them because something inside you still feels unfinished. There's a moment your mind keeps going back to, not because it made sense, but because it didn't. Something about it felt off, incomplete, like there was something you should have said but didn't. And now it won't leave you alone, so your brain does what it thinks will help and replays the moment again and again. You go back into that conversation, you hear the same words, you see the same reactions, but this time you change things. You answer differently, you explain yourself better, you say what you really meant. You become clearer, smarter, stronger, and for a second it feels like you fixed it. But then it starts again, because deep down you didn't fix anything. You just created a better version of something that already happened. That's why it keeps looping, because this was never really about the conversation. It was about how it made you feel. Maybe ignored, maybe misunderstood, maybe exposed in a way you didn't expect. That feeling is what your brain is trying to solve. Not the words, not the logic, but the emotion behind it. Because your mind doesn't like unresolved feelings. It doesn't like loose ends. It doesn't like uncertainty. So it tries to fix it the only way it knows how, by replaying it. It tells you if you find the perfect response, you'll feel better. If you understand what went wrong, you'll finally get closure. But that's the trap, because you're not solving the moment, you're reliving it. And every time you go back, you step a little further away from the present. That's why it feels exhausting, not because you're thinking too much, but because your mind never gets to rest. It's stuck trying to solve something that can't be solved in the past. And the worst part is, it feels productive, like you're figuring something out, like you're improving, like you're preparing yourself. But in reality, you're just keeping yourself tied to a moment that already ended. That's why it's so hard to stop, because your brain thinks it's protecting you. It believes next time you'll say the right thing, next time you won't feel that way again. But there is no perfect version of that moment, no sentence that would guarantee a different outcome, because conversations are not just about you. They're about timing, mood, and the other person's state of mind. So you can replay it 100 times, and it still won't give you what you're looking for, because what you actually needed was to feel understood. And that doesn't come from rewriting the past, it comes from accepting it. Accepting that the moment happened and that you did the best you could with who you were at that time. Not the version of you now, not the version of you after analyzing everything, but the version of you who was there. And that version of you deserved understanding too, even if no one gave it to you. Because replaying the conversation won't give you closure, but letting it go might. Not because it was perfect, but because you stop asking it to be something it can't be anymore. And when you stop replaying, you come back to the present. You notice your thoughts more. You catch the loop earlier, and you realize you don't need to fix everything in your head to move forward. And slowly, the moment loses its power. Not all at once, but little by little, until one day you think about it again and it doesn't pull you in. It just passes, like everything else should have. And that's when you realize you were never stuck in the conversation. You were just stuck in the feeling.